Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Dhamma meeting where we will discuss the Buddhist practices of charity, morality, and meditation. Everyone who is interested is welcome to join. We will start with our first participant, which happens to be Kok Seng from Singapore.
Oh, good evening, Rajan. I present at the moment. Thank you, Rajan.
Okay, Big Yen So from Penang.
Tan Ajaan, good evening. Yeah, listening today, Tan Ajaan.
Okay. How about Professor Ken? How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Tanajan. Can you hear me?
Not quite as loud. Can you speak louder?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, better now.
I just have some kind of technical problem. Is it okay now? The sound?
Yes, perfectly. Yeah. Sounds perfect.
Okay. Okay, I'll fix that a bit later. But, Tanajan, I would like to ask a question in regard to the translation that Claudia is doing. So we were discussing it last week, the translation of Beyond Birth from English into German. And we were discussing the best way to talk about or describe anata in German. So I'd like to ask Tanajan, just if you could please give just a brief summary of the meaning of anata so that we can use that for our better understanding.
Well, anatta is a word opposite of atta. This is, I think, Pali word. Atta means self, and anatta is no self. So that's what it means. It means there's something natural, like the wind, the rain, this anatta. There's no self pushing them or controlling them or telling them when to blow or not to blow the wind. So this is what it means by anatta. No one behind this activity except conditions that give them rises, and then it's scientific. Really, that's what it means. It's like the rain. You get rain because you got evaporation from the water, and you get evaporation because of the heat. So there are conditions that pushing one condition to become another condition, to cause another thing to happen. But there's nobody behind these activities. So too is the body. Our body there's no you, me pushing this body. We cannot push this body. The body has this course, right? Once it's take conception, it will grow, and then it will take birth, come out the womb, and then it continue to grow by adding more elements, by adding the 4 elements into the body. So it keep growing. So one day it gets to the maximum point of growth and start to deteriorate, start to count down, because the 4 elements that combine lose the strength that binds them together. So that's because the 4 elements start to separate gradually, and eventually it ceases to exist. The body ceases to exist because the 4 elements just separated from the body. So this is a natural phenomenon, right? Phenomenon. It's not something somebody pushing it or telling it what to be or what not to be. So this is what meant by anatta, no self, nobody pushing or controlling or telling. Although we might think that we can control the body to a certain extent, yes, we can tell it when to eat or not to eat, and when to walk and not to walk. But even us who telling this body is not a self either, it's just thoughts. thinking. They are thinking, but they are no thinker, according to Buddhism. So everything are natural condition, natural phenomena, natural process that interact with one the other, causing one to appear and causing the other to disappear, something like that.
Okay.
Interaction of conditions, usually from the four elements. In this physical world, it's the interaction between the four elements: the earth element, the wind element, the water element, and the fire element. In science, we have the four quality, like a matter, solid, liquid, and temperature, heat, and the other one is gas. So they interact with each other. That's what they are, really. Our body is like that. Everything is like that. Your house, your car, everything is the interaction of the four elements, forming and then deforming. You build something and one day it falls apart, right? Mm. That's the law of nature of this physical world that we live in.
Okay,
So that just no self. You read the study, the Pali text, English translation, they usually translate as no self.
Yeah. I think we were talking about no self, and we discussed that Ajaan often describes it as just everything is not under our control, something we cannot control.
Yeah, they're like the weather. Everything's like the weather.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can control some of them. Sometimes we cannot. Like flood, we can make dams or something like that to prevent flooding. But eventually dam breaks down again and flooding starts again.
Okay.
So, and the one who is managing all everything is not, it's not a self either. It's just the working of the perception, memory, and thinking that keeps into creating new ideas, creating desire and cravings and so forth.
Okay.
So no self, everything are just like natural phenomena. Mental phenomena, physical phenomena. Sometimes the mental and the physical interact, like the body. The body is being sometimes intervened by the mental phenomena, our thoughts and our perception too. Okay, let's just give you the meaning of how to translate the word anatta.
Summary. That's helpful.
Nobody, no self.
Yeah. Just Claudia was a bit cautious about how to render the description in German. So
the term self is a concept created by the delusion of the mind. That's all. There's no self.
Yeah.
It's a delusion created that creates a concept of a self. You find the self disappear when you stop your thoughts. When you meditate and when you get into jhana, then your perception and your thinking stop. And all that is left is just knowing.
Yeah.
But when you come out of meditation, your perception and your thoughts start to work again, and then you start to think in terms of self and no self again. Thinking of you and other people, you and me, so forth. It's just thinking, concept. Like in ancient time, this concept of the world is flat, right? Everybody believes the world is flat. But it's just a concept, and a delusional one. Yeah. Not a true one. Same way with the self. This is a delusional concept. But we've been born with it. I mean, so we stuck with it for a long time, and it becomes second nature to us. Okay, meditate, get into jhana, then you can find the disappearance of the self, temporarily, the disappearance of the self. Or there is just a knowing, but no knower, just knowing. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much,
All
Ajaan.
right. Next, we'll go to Bangkok, Pitima. Usually join to listen, no question.
Yes, no question.
Okay, we'll have Marco now. Marco from Holland. Hi, Marco and family.
Merry Christmas, Ajaan.
Merry Christmas, Ajaan.
Yes, thank you.
So this is the first time I'm joining on the English side. I've sat in on the Thai side before, and you kindly referred me to the Tuesday session. So
Yes.
so now I'm joining because I don't have to work. And I have
Yes.
a question for you, Rajan, please. So when we are meditating, when I'm meditating, I sometimes see lights, sometimes see shadows with eyes. Sometimes I fall asleep. And when I'm most peaceful, I tend to fall asleep. My question is, at what point, or what's the best method to not be too peaceful, too calm? Because I feel really good when I'm meditating. I feel really at rest and at peace, but it's so easy to fall asleep. So how can I go away from that? That's the first question.
Because you lose your mindfulness when you get to that point. You should
Okay.
maintain your mindfulness by watching your meditation object. Don't lose your meditation object. If you use your breath, keep watching your breath, and don't be distracted by whatever appears during meditation.
Okay.
When you get distracted, you forget your meditation object, and you lose mindfulness, and then you fall asleep, or maybe you're causing some other things to happen. It's due to lack of mindfulness, really.
Okay. So the key is to be on the meditation object, like the breath, like the
Yes,
Buddha.
all the time, all the
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
Until everything becomes still and everything disappears, and all you have left is emptiness. Then you don't have to focus on your meditation object. But by then you'll be bright, you'll be calm and alert automatically.
Yes, I've had the feeling that I've seen myself sitting almost like going away, going down, or going up.
Mhm.
But it's when that feeling happens, first there's fear.
Mhm.
And then when I see it, it's very short, it goes away again.
Yeah,
Is that the right path?
It's usually the work of your mind creating this phenomenon. So just ignore it, and it means you have your mindfulness sometimes is lacking. So it allows the mind to create this thing. So come back to your meditation object.
Thank you,
It's
Ajahn.
easy to lose your meditation object when you meditate.
Thank you, Ajahn. And the other question.
Sometimes you
Sorry.
might have to practice more mindfulness before you meditate, even. If that's possible, you'll find that it's harder for you to lose your meditation object if you practice mindfulness before you meditate.
I think that's a very good point. It's very difficult sometimes at work to constantly keep the mindfulness.
That's right.
Also, when driving, I do try to keep focus on my breath all the time, but the mind always goes everywhere. And of course, when you have to focus on work, it's difficult.
No, when you're working, then you should focus on your work, not on your breath.
Yeah, correct.
Because if you focus on your breath and you're driving, you might run into an accident. Because you know. So you have to focus on, when you're moving, you have to focus on what you do, not on your
True.
breath.
True.
Well,
Yeah,
else-
one of the things that I try to do is also, I've asked you before the question about wandering eyes. I was used to looking up and ahead when I'm walking on the street. And I changed that by looking down at the ground,
Yes,
so that I
look,
can,
looking at your feet instead at your steps.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And I noticed that's good to kind of go away from the defilements that might happen when you start looking around. Is it good to test those defilements every now and then, or do you just keep your mindfulness always? How do you know if your mindfulness is strong enough?
Your mindfulness is strong enough. It means you stick with you're in the present most of the time, not being driven by your thoughts. You go to the past or the future, or think about some other thing that's not there at that moment. You only focus on what's happening in the present. That means you have mindfulness.
Thank you.
You're here and now. Your mind is here and now, not anywhere else, not everywhere else. Be here and now. Be aware of what's going on right in front of your eyes.
Yeah. Thank you, Ajaan.
Okay. Any more questions?
One more. What's the difference between indifference and equanimity?
Well, I'm not sure how you would define. It depends on how you define indifference. If you mean indifference, mean you don't give a hoot about other people.
Yeah, it's more that. So when trying to be mindful, I notice a lot often at work. There's colleagues talking about certain things, and I'm wondering, am I being indifferent or am I being equanimous? Is it because I don't care about what they're saying, or is it because I really don't have a view or opinion on it?
Actually, the meaning of equanimity means you don't react emotionally to whatever you come across. But you also can use wisdom to decide whether you should do something with that situation or not. Okay. Whether you could do something, help that person or whatever. If you find it impossible to help, then you just have to remain indifferent that way. Because you couldn't help, not because you don't want to help. So you have equanimity, but you also, on the other hand, you have loving kindness and compassion for other people as well. But you're not affected by what happens to them or what's going on. Your mind remain calm and peaceful. But if you have to react, you will react with wisdom and react with compassion or love. If you can do something, if you can make a difference, for instance. But it doesn't mean you don't care about anybody. That's not equanimity.
No, thank you, Ajaan.
Okay. All right, good to see you. Come on in more often. But I guess you have to stop working though. You have to stop working though to be able to join.
I'll try. I'll try.
So this is your Christmas holiday, huh?
Yeah, this is actually good time now.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Ajaan.
You're welcome. I'll go to Delhi now, to Rajan. Hi, Rajan.
Good evening, Ajaan.
Please go ahead if you have any question.
I don't have any question this evening, Ajaan. I'm happy to be listening in.
Okay, maybe later.
Yes.
Okay, Philip and Adeline from Malaysia.
Good evening, Ajaan.
Good evening, Tanjan.
No questions tonight. I'm just listening in.
Tanjan, I got a question with regards to meditation practice. A couple of, I sometimes do have this issue is that when there is a prolonged session in a day where I meditate a lot, sometimes when I do fall asleep, in the night when I'm really sleeping, I do sometimes catch myself repeating the mantra Buddha in my dreams also, and also or even watching my breath. I mean, I tend to ignore it, but is this a phenomena that happens, or is there something that I might be maybe exerting too much pressure into the meditation object?
Well, when you go to sleep, your mind can do anything. It's beyond your control. So it depends on what you have input into the mind that day, for instance. If you have input something a lot, it might stick in the mind and appears in your dream. So there's nothing to worry about. Whatever appears in a dream, it just happen and disappear. So treat it just as like a three characteristic, anicca, anatta. So you don't have to worry about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. That's it, the questions.
Sometimes people worry, oh, I have this type of dream. What happened to me? Am I going crazy? Or no, you're not. This is just the way how the mind works sometimes. Just understand the nature of the mind. Especially when you dream, you don't have enough mindfulness to control it anymore. So it can bring up anything, the past, good karma that you did, maybe bad karma that you did before. This can come into play during when you go to sleep.
I see. Okay.
Okay.
No questions.
All right.
Here, Ajahn.
I'll go to Toronto now with PR. What happened to Indira?
It's coming. She's on the way. So we were on holidays. So she's getting ready. We'll join later. But I just have one question about you told about self. It disappears in the jhana, but does it completely disappear? It's a temporary, you said, right? But when does the self completely disappear, the mana concept? Is it towards the end of the path? Like, so because you still have a mana, like self, like ego.
Everything's still there except it's not working when you're in jhana. So temporarily suspended.
Temporary. Yeah. So the Sakkaya Ditthi kind of breaks in between somewhere, like you really realize there is nothing, no self. You're creating it. You're just artificially doing this all the time because it's a habit of the nature of the mind. You're doing it all the time. You don't even realize, like a magician does for you, and you got caught to the trick. So when you know there's the magic, it's not real, then is that the time when you say, okay, I've seen it. This is what's the mind is doing again, but you get caught to it again, right? It goes back and forth till you clearly break through that seeing. Is that how it works? Or?
Well, see, this is the work of wisdom, and you will only use this because you've been being pointed to this fact. If you're not pointed to this fact, you might not notice it. When you're into jhana, you just seem to see everything disappear, and you might not ever thought about there's a self or no self, because maybe deeply in your mind you still think that there's always a self. But it's only after the Buddha enlightenment that said there's no self, then he's pointing you to a different way of looking at things. So without the enlightenment of Buddha, nobody knows that there's no self in the mind. Everybody still seeing a self. And a self just take a rest in jhana or something.
So was it that because of the Indian concept that time, there's a soul, permanence? He was emphasizing on this from the very onset, say there is no self. This is called a self because they talk about the permanent entity, which goes from Atma to Atma concept, because it was very much in the time of the Buddha.
Well, it's based on the eternal nature of the mind. The mind doesn't disappear, doesn't destroy. So they use the mind as a self. The delusion could create that the mind is the self, the atta, or the ataman. It's just still a concept of eternal self on the mind. The mind is eternal, but it's not a self. That's all. It's an eternal knowing element. Like the other four elements, they are eternal elements. The earth always remain earth element. Water, fire, and wind, space, these are all elements that never not created nor destroyed. They are always there. They're the building blocks of all of the universe, of everything of existence. They're the building blocks. Like if you look in the chemistry, there are carbon dioxide, oxygen, atoms, and so that's what they are. They are atoms. They are molecules. But the knowing element has the ability to think, to feel, to perceive, to remember, and to connect to a body, to access the essential objects. This is the ability of the knowing element.
It's part of consciousness, I think, maybe related to consciousness, knowing element. It's cognizing.
Knowing element is knowing. And the one that connects the body to the mind is called the consciousness, vijnana. The five vijnana connect to the five sensual organs, connect to the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. So that then when the eye see an object, it is sent to the knowing element, and then knowing element has the ability to process this with perception and sanya.
So the basic information is brought by the five senses, but however, the knowing element is a mind consciousness, kind of has a way to discriminate things. So you're the knower, like you see this is red. I know this is red, but I brought the information in, and then you're thinking about why is bright red or light. So mind is now thinking. That's a knower.
Yes, the function of the mind and function of knowing element. It has this four function of feeling, of thinking, and perceiving, or remembering what it perceived before.
So the two elements are knower and the doer. That's basically it. The doer is the one that thinking, talking, doing all the stuff, like active. But the doer kind of fades away in the jhana. The knower still is very active and more powerful. You just perceive bright.
The problem with the knower is being influenced by delusion, greed, hate, and delusion, defilement. So it acts according to the command of the defilement. Go get this, don't get this. Try to do this, try to do that. This is all the work of delusion.
So it's not the self. I mean, we think that we can make choices, but really the knowing element giving us the instructions.
Usually your delusion give you the instruction. This is good, this is bad. See, this is delusion, this is delusion. So when you see something good, you get good feeling. So when you get good feeling, you have cravings for more. Or you want to possess it, you want to own it, you want to keep it.
Have it more.
And if you perceive something that is bad, you want to get rid of it. And when you cannot do that, you get dukkha in the knowing element. That's where the problem starts. You get dukkha because of your cravings for or not for something.
It's not that complicated. It's some simple mechanism.
It's complicated because it's hard to stop. Once you are attached to something, it's not easy to just let go. See.
because of
because you rely on those things that you are attached to keep you happy, right?
Is it the habit or the nature of the mind? Because we cannot get rid of these habits. Keep going. The delusion.
It's hard to get rid of, but you can. If you find that it is harmful to you, see. If you find smoking is harmful to you, you can stop smoking. But without wisdom telling you this, you continue to smoke. Until you get sick and you go to see a doctor, and the doctor say, "Oh, you have to stop smoking, or else you die."
Yeah.
Then they might stop. Then they might find it difficult to stop. Though.
So Buddha is the doctor.
Yeah. So it's up to whether you want to live or you want to smoke. There's a choice there. If you smoke, you die. You don't live. If you live, you don't smoke.
I see. Yeah, Indira, you were asking. She's here too now. We can see her.
Good morning.
Yeah, look at you're in a different environment now, not in the office. Yeah.
No. We took some time off because the Christmas break.
Yes.
So we're just.
How are you, Ajaan?
Oh, always happy all the time.
Wish we could be like you too.
Just stop working, give up your possession, then you'll be happy all the time. It's your work and your possession that makes you not happy.
True.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
We are trying, we are doing our best, Ajaan.
It's not easy, a lot of dust as household life, that Buddha said. So much.
Over time, so many things. You can't just give up, not the positions, but there are.
Yeah, the more dust you.
We just discussed this. It's hard to give up things. It's hard to give up your attachment.
Yes, sometimes more than attachment, kind of you feel it's a responsibility, Ajaan, as a mother.
It's your defilement excuse to cling to things. That's all.
It's a disguise.
If you see the thing that you cling to is a cobra, then you just throw it away right away. But you don't see it as a cobra thing. You see it as a beautiful eels to eat.
That's true.
But everything that you cling to, that you have, they are all cobra, because they can harm your mind, cause stress and anxiety for your mind. But you don't see this. If you have the wisdom to see this, then you say, "Oh, I don't want anything. I don't want to have anything to do with anything," because they give me stress. See, if you don't have a wife, you don't have to worry about your wife, right? Or if you don't have a husband, you don't have to worry about your husband. But when you have a husband or wife, you worry about them. You fear for their safety.
And children too, the same. I think that's
everything. Your possession, your house, your cars, your money, everything.
The bank account.
That's why the Buddha gave up his palace life and lived as a beggar.
That's true.
So much freedom. And total freedom. But but still, you still need the requisites, right, to live the house. Yeah.
But you also know that if you don't have it, whether you have it or you don't have, you're gonna die one day anyway. So if you can accept the fact of death, then it doesn't matter. If you don't have the requisite either, it just means you die earlier, sooner than later. But you die anyway. When you die anyway, whether you have the requisite or not.
Yeah. But that state of mind is kind of hard. You don't care about death, like you accept that. You are waiting for it. It's another. It's a change.
Your mind is so developed, then but
you have equanimity.
Yes.
Equanimity based on wisdom and based on mindfulness. So this is what you need to develop. First mindfulness, then wisdom. Once you fully develop them, then you have the mind to be permanently in equanimity and can accept anything. Because the mind knows it has nothing to do with those things in the first place. It's just the delusion that led the mind to be connected to things. But now it understands and it's no longer attached to these things. and can accept their departure or their separation. So this is what you should practice. This is the goal, to achieve full, complete freedom from stress, is to have wisdom, mindfulness and wisdom, to keep the mind in equanimity at all times.
So it's not the object itself, it's a desire we have to the object in between. It's
Yeah,
a
it's a delusion.
mental.
Delusion tells you that this thing is good for you. And wisdom tells you this is bad for you. Everything is harmful to your mind.
Yes, Ajahn.
Everything is dukkha, anicca, because they are anicca, they are anatta.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you so
for
much.
your wisdom.
Okay,
We
you're
appreciate it.
welcome. Okay, still in Toronto. Your father and son now, Jordan and Trevor. Hi, how are you both?
Hi. Hi, Ajahn. Doing well. Thank you. Nice to see you, as always. Nice to
Yes.
see you.
Good to see you too. What can I do for you?
Well, I was wondering about Sila, and it seems to me, if I understand right, I just want to see what you have to say, but without Sila, you can't really develop in your meditation practice. Is that right?
Well, yes, if you drink alcohol, you get drunk. Then when you get drunk, you cannot meditate. Or you steal, or you commit something wrong, you have agitated mind. Your mind is consumed with worry and anxiety. So you'll find it more difficult to meditate, to calm it down. So if you're not breaking any law, any precept, then your mind will remain normal, not agitated, no worry, no anxiety, no fear. So it's easier for you to calm the mind with.
I see.
So that's the purpose of the sila, to protect your mind from being overwhelmed with guilt and bad feelings. Because when you do something bad, you know you don't feel good, right? Mm. So when you meditate, you find it difficult to meditate. It's hard enough with a normal mind, much worse when the mind is not normal.
I see.
So if you keep the precept, it will keep your mind on a normal level.
Okay.
And with the 8 precept, it helps you to stop your craving, your sensual cravings, sensual pleasure cravings. If you don't keep the 8 precept, you can still watch TV, you can still drink any beverages, eat anything at any time you want. But if you keep the 8 precept, then you're not allowed to do this after midday. You can drink and eat not only before midday. After midday, all drinking and except for water or some refreshment, some allowable refreshment. But other than that, you're not supposed to indulge in any of the sensual pleasures from eating or drinking.
Is that for lay persons too? Is that for lay persons too?
Yes, that's the 8 preceptors. If you keep the 8 precepts. But if you cannot do this, then you just keep the 5 precepts first.
So when we're indulging in food and nice things, entertainment, then we're not really taking refuge in our meditation. Is that right?
You don't have time to meditate.
Oh, okay.
If you watch a movie for 2 hours, you lose 2 hours of meditation time. See? If you don't watch movie, then you have 2 hours free to meditate. That's why meditators are usually required to take the 8 precepts. If you go live in the monastery, everybody in the monastery at least keep the minimum of the 8 precepts. With the monks, we have more than that. But basically, they are the principal precepts are the same. The 8 precepts are the principal ones. For monks, the other are more rules of conduct to keep the monk behave properly and nicely. So we have lots of rules.
Okay. Is it true that we want to find our source of pleasure and contentment from the peace of meditation, as opposed to from entertainment and that kind
That's
of?
right. Because peace from meditation is more stable, more reliable, and less stressful in acquiring it than gaining the sensual pleasures from the sensual objects. Requires a lot of energy, resources. You need to have money. You have to have a strong, healthy body, and you have to have things that you want to enjoy. So there are many factors involved in trying to find pleasure from the sensual objects. But with meditation,
Unreliable.
Yeah, and not reliable, and they're temporarily. Once you get it, after a while, you get bored and you want something different now. Okay. They cannot keep you content for a long time. But with peace of mind from meditation, it gives you contentment for a long time. And you don't need much resource. All you need is just the time and the ability to maintain your mindfulness. That's all.
I liked your advice that you gave to someone last week to they were feeling lonely, and you said that you could stay home, during holidays or New Year's Eve and find your own, have your own party meditating.
Yeah. Yes. The Buddha said the happiness from meditation, from peace of mind, is much more, far greater than the happiness you get from sensual pleasures. The highest form of happiness actually is the happiness from peace of mind. Only that the peace of mind that you gain from meditation is the temporary one. You need to develop further to get to the permanent one, which is you need wisdom to do that with.
I understand. Thank you.
Okay.
I have a question about the practice. Is it okay to sit in a chair when I meditate?
Well, for beginners, if you find it difficult to sit in cross-legged position, you can sit on a chair, sit somewhere comfortable. But it will not be good for a long stretch of meditation. Sitting in the cross-legged position is the best form of sitting for a long stretch of meditation, because your body is balanced, and it doesn't have. It's more balanced. It won't tilt to the left or right like you're sitting on a chair. But if for a starter, since you're not sitting for a long time anyway, it doesn't matter. But as you advance and you want to sit longer, you might find that sitting cross-legged might be much more comfortable for meditation than sitting on a chair.
Okay.
And when you sit on a chair, is it essential not to lean back, just to sit straight?
That's right, preferably, because if you lean back, you become comfortable and you start to lose mindfulness easily. If you sit with your back straight, then it's harder for you to lose mindfulness, because you have to more or less, force your body to sit straight.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
So
Thank you very much.
You have to sit on a chair, but sit with your back straight. And once you start meditating, don't worry about the position. Once you start meditating, just concentrate on your meditation object only. Even though you might feel that you're leaning back or leaning left or right, don't try to move your body. Don't adjust your body. Leave it alone, because you'll be distracted by adjusting your body from your meditation, and your meditation will not advance, will not go forward.
I remember you said one day whenever you move, it's like going, you
Back to
just
the start
return
again.
back
Yeah.
to the start.
Yes, yes. Because meditation is to get your mind away from your body. See? Get it to in the place of its own. The mind has a place of its own, not in the body, not with the body, outside of the body. And you need mindfulness to pull the mind away from the body. Okay.
Can I ask something unrelated?
Sure, anything you like. Whether I can answer it or not, that's another question.
But thank you for that. I'll take those points and try and improve my meditation. I am finding with Jordan's persistence and guidance that and encouragement that I'm sitting more and sitting even when he's not here, which I'm really enjoying it and finding it. I don't need him to tell me to meditate all the time. But one thing I was wondering, do monks ever have visitors when they're in their monastery?
It depends on what type of monks you are, see, and which stage of being a monk you are. If you're just a beginner, usually you don't want to isolate yourself from the rest of the world. Like when I started becoming a monk, I went to stay in a very strict monastery, Ajaan Suchart, and he wouldn't allow monks to have any visitors. He wouldn't allow monks to go outside except only for alms round. The rest of the time, stay in the monastery to do meditation, practice mindfulness all day long, and do the chores of a monk, whatever, sweeping, cleaning up, things like that. But no outside contact with the world. No radio, no television, no telephone, no newspapers, nothing. You want to keep them.
No letter writing?
Preferably not, but sometimes if you really have to, if it's really something important, something necessary, but just for casual communication, you should not do that either. Because it will distract your concentration, see. The purpose of isolating yourself is to allow for you to be able to concentrate your mind in the present, see. The goal is to stop the mind from thinking. When you're writing letter, you have to think. When you're watching television, you have to think. So you want to isolate yourself. At least the first 5 years, requirement for a beginning monk to live like that for the first 5 years with a strict teacher. Until you are able to maintain mindfulness and be able to meditate and enter into jhana. And after that, you might be allowed more room to, if you have to, sometime, if you have to meet somebody, but still not casual, and it should be business-like, something important. If it's nothing important, then you shouldn't meet anybody.
Or say an illness or something along those lines, or
in that case, if you have to go see a doctor, that's fine. Emergency cases, something.
But if say a family member is ill, like or something like that, do they leave for that? Sometimes.
Usually not, because you don't know, you cannot help the person anyway when he's sick, right? You're not a doctor, so why go there for? If there's a reason that if you visit the sick person and he can get well from your visiting, then you might have to go. It sounds harsh, but this is when you're still in the practice level. But once you have ability to control your mind, then you can go anywhere you want, do anything you want with other people. But until then, you shouldn't, because once you start to get involved with people, you start to really attach to them, and you start to become more worried about them, thinking about them, and you will find it difficult to live alone when you go back to the monastery.
That makes sense to me.
Makes a lot of sense.
But once you have mastered your mind, then you can control your mind to remain calm all the time, regardless of where you are, and no longer being attached to anybody or anything. Then you can do anything, go anywhere. It will not affect your mind anymore. Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Our loved ones, parents, and so forth, are they encouraged or discouraged to attend an ordination ceremony?
Ordination is okay because you're still just starting, so you haven't yet gotten into the practice mode. You just usually this is okay to join the ordination, but once finished with the ordination, then you should just leave the monk alone and not pay him any visiting or anything like that anymore. I mean, these are serious monks, okay. But in Thailand, we have serious monks and casual monks. The casual monks, they have parents, friends visiting monks every day. But they only ordain temporarily. They ordain usually for 15 days or a month because out of the tradition.
Wow.
That's all. But if you ordain seriously, then you don't want to have any contact with anybody. At least for the first 5 years. When I stay at Ajaan Mahabur, the first 5 years, I only have my parents visiting me once. Then after the first 5 years, I asked permission to come home and visit my parents, and I was allowed to come home for a brief visit.
Okay, that makes sense. I respect that.
Yeah, it's your decision. Becoming a monk is your decision. No one forced you to do it. And if you want to succeed, then you have to accept the conditions required of you in order for you to be able to succeed in your path, as a monk.
And so do the people
Yes.
around the monk.
Yeah,
have to respect that.
And the family understand if he's a serious monk, they know that he will have to go away and won't be able to see each other for a while. But they look at it in a positive way, that this is the way to become enlightened. So they're hopeful that one day you can become enlightened from this endeavor.
Even if the monk doesn't become enlightened, they're in a happier place.
Yeah, a safer place, really. There's no other safe place than in the monastery, You hardly run into anybody,
So you know that they're happy.
Happy and safe.
Yeah, which is more than many parents can say.
Yes, but the parents always miss them and wants to be close to them, to see them.
No, I can hardly wait till he clears out. I need my couch back.
You may say this now, but when he's gone, then you start to become lonely.
No, I know.
But he's coming to Thailand next month, I heard.
Yeah, at the end of the month, if all goes well.
Yeah, he's serious.
Yeah,
He wants to ordain in Thailand.
Yes. I'm
And
very
I think he will
happy for
succeed. I think he will succeed because if you have the intention, the determination, then nothing can stop you from getting what you want.
I'm encouraging him and behind him 100%.
Good.
I'm
Support
so
him.
excited.
Yeah, support him.
So excited for him.
Good. Happy that you understand.
Yeah.
All right. Is that all for now?
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Sure.
Go to Dubai, Appalachita.
Good evening, Rajan.
Good evening.
Yes. I don't have any questions. I'm just just
Okay.
listening. Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Maybe later.
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Go to Singapore with Gary. Gary.
Good evening, Rajan. No questions.
Okay. Go to California. Southern California. Stalin. Hi, Stalin. Can you hear me?
Hi, Ajaan.
This is not Stalin.
Stalin is not here, only Sheila. I don't have any questions today. I'm just listening in.
Okay, good. How is Stalin? Is he okay?
He's all right, but he's not coming today.
Are you planning to come to Thailand for a visit again?
We were thinking of coming this year, but looks like we won't be able to come this year. But we will see.
Okay. All right.
Normally we come with our son, so this year he won't be able to come. So it looks like we won't be able to come this year.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe even this year, I don't know, but we will see.
This year we only have a few days left.
And in the sense that next year, yeah,
Yeah,
24.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Good to see you.
You too, Ajaan.
All right. Alvin from Malaysia.
Good evening, Tanajan. Tanajan, I've got one question regarding what you say is if monks, in one of your books, I think it's called Essential Teachings, you say that if a monk which is newly ordained and trying to teach, they are basically just preaching. And so newly ordained monks shouldn't be actually teaching, like what you mentioned just now. Maybe you have to stay with your teacher for 5 years. And Tajan, you also mentioned that if I correct me if I'm wrong, if we are looking a lay person like me, if we are looking for teacher, we should be looking for a teacher who has been ordained for 30 to 40 years, right? Not those too young, it's like newly ordained monk.
Well, not the years really, but the teacher who's wise enough, who knows the Dhamma, and usually they are older, they have more experience with more than the younger. But that doesn't mean that maybe in a special case, maybe a young monk might be fully enlightened also, or even a samanera, a novice. During the time of the Buddha, the Buddha sent a senior monk to go and study with a novice, because the novice is a fully enlightened, and the senior monk who's been enrolled for 30 years is still hasn't started the practice yet. So not the age that counts, but the ability to teach the Dhamma, knowing the Dhamma first. But usually, mostly for the most people, is usually the older monks usually have the more wisdom, more experiences to teach than the younger monks.
I mean, as a lay person, we can actually observe the mannerism and the conduct of the monk as well, right? Before.
Well, whether he's keeping his sila or not, his precepts or not, this is usually one of the quality of a learned monk. Learned monk usually well behaved, But if you look for a teacher, you shouldn't really look at the age only. You should look at the teaching more, whether you can benefit from the teaching or not. If you can benefit from the teaching, then it doesn't matter what age that person teaches you. If you can benefit from his teaching.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense because I've seen monks who has many vasas, and you know, they encourage more of chanting. So and you know, it's like more of logical thinking and things like this. Yeah, some of them are very what I would say is intellectual. So yeah.
And it also depends on what you want. See, if you want chanting, then you might want to go to somebody who can teach you chanting. If you want to study the scriptures, you go to somebody who can teach you the scriptures. If you want to meditate, then you have to go to someone who can teach you how to meditate.
From my personal experience, it helps reading the sutta, listening, and sometimes intellectually thinking about it. But like what you said, I think like, but there's not much progress I've gone through going through that channel.
Yes. But you know, lots of people have different abilities, so they have to seek the teacher according to their abilities.
Yes.
If they cannot meditate yet, if they go study for a meditation teacher, they won't gain much benefit because they're not able to meditate themselves. So they might have to go study the scripture from a teacher first, who teach the scripture.
Yes, agree on that. Yes.
Okay. Or chanting. And some people have to learn how to chant first, because chanting is a form of developing mindfulness and meditation.
Yep.
An easier way of developing mindfulness and meditation. But you don't get into deep meditation from that. But you how you kickstart your meditation practice. If you don't have enough mindfulness to start with, then you might want to learn to do the chanting first.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, but intellectual conversation sometimes will create more what they call it, agitation, and because sometimes you disagree.
Confusion. Sometimes you have confusion.
Yes.
And more question.
More questions. Yeah. Sometimes you would try to, you know, present a view, each other's view. I mean, there's conflict in the views and things like this. So.
If you go study with a meditation teacher, the first thing he asks you to do is to stop thinking.
Yes.
Practice mindfulness, yeah. Forget all about what you have learned, what you have studied. Leave it all behind, and concentrate on stopping your mind from thinking and making it calm first. Once you have a calm mind, then you can then go back to what you have studied, and you might be able to understand better.
Yeah, agree. So basically, unlearn and relearn everything again.
Yeah, it's like the story about pouring a new cup of tea into an old cup with old tea. You have to dump the old tea from the cup first before you can pour in a new tea into the cup.
Yeah.
So you have to empty all what you know from your study and just practice emptiness of thoughts first. Don't think.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. The more discussion you have, the more thinking you do,
and the more restlessness you get, more restlessness and agitation you get.
Yeah, you're more confused as well. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, thanks, Namajan.
You're welcome. Hi, Will from England. Haven't seen you for a while.
Mr. Karnkat, what a great pleasure. Thank you very much for running these meetings. Incredibly generous of you.
Can I help you with anything tonight?
I haven't really. I haven't really got a question I can ask you, but it's a great pleasure to be with you.
Okay.
I think, as usual, I'd like to write to you sometime. If I can write to your secretary, is that correct?
Yeah, you can write to my secretary, but I normally don't read much. Takes too much time. It's easier to listen than read.
Right. Okay. Well, I pay respects to you. Thank you very much for having us.
Okay, you're welcome. Go to Malaysia, Kafai Lim.
Good day to you, Ajaan. I'm just listening today. Thank you.
Okay. Belinda from Singapore. Listening in outcome. Okay. Go to Scott from Bangsalay, Thailand. Very close to Rajan.
Good evening. It's been good coming along to see you most weekends for the last few months. It's been really, really nice. I've brought along a few friends as well over the last few weeks who are visiting us over the festivities. So they've actually been getting a lot from what the meditations and everything else that you do on Saturdays, Sundays. Got one question for you, sir. I'm willing to support and help others, and I do. There's something I do I with kindness and generosity, and it's coming from a good place. I seem to have people then have expectations of me, which they want more and more of me, the more and more I do. This clouds my kindness because I feel as if I'm being taken advantage of, but I instigate the thing to begin with. I know this is my stuff. I give freely and I feel others need more of me than I give or I can give. And what it is, this then affects my peace of mind. I become uncareful, unmindful. My meditations are then more difficult because I can sometimes sit in resentment and I blame myself for starting it. But all I wanted to do was be kind in the first place. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. What you should do is, it's good to give, but you have to know your limit. Okay, once you reach that limit, then you have to say no. That's all. You cannot help everybody.
Yeah, and it's the say no thing. I think what it is, it's easy to say no to people I don't know because they don't know me. But when I've said yes to people for a long time, saying no to them is very family, long-standing friends. That's where my boundaries are clouded.
You can give them warning first. If they keep coming back for help, then you say, "This is the last time, no more." At least you don't disappoint them this time, and you let them know ahead that next time they come, they won't get what they want anymore. This is what I usually do with people when they keep asking me for help. After I say, "This is the last time, no more."
I mean, I'm a 56-year-old man, and I understand, and I do in the main. I can, and this would be the advice, the wisdom, the everything I would give to somebody else, but it's more difficult when it's happening to me because the thing is, I'm just setting my ways with certain people. I give willingly. It just feels then it becomes very quickly stops becoming a position of generosity and a position of I'm obliged and duty bound, but that's my stuff. That's my stuff.
Yeah, you just have to look at how much you can give. And when you have given that, then say this is all you can give. That's all. And don't feel guilty. You have done your part.
No. Yeah, that's all between the ears. I'm aware of that. I work a 12-step program, and the mantra behind it is basically we keep what we have by giving it away, but sometimes we don't have anything to give away to keep, if that makes sense. You have to have something in the locker to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, if you have nothing to give, then you don't give. That's all.
Exactly. Thank you for your clarity, and I will see you this week. Quick question: this weekend being a public holiday, are you?
Yes, it'll be 4 days: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday or something.
Excellent. Well, I will definitely see you Saturday, probably Sunday, and hopefully Monday.
I didn't see you last Saturday. You didn't come, right? Did you?
I was there. Yes, I was there Saturday. I was with a couple of friends, and I was giving them a tour of the whole temple, so I didn't get a chance to come to see you personally. But I was there on Saturday.
I didn't see you sit in your normal place.
No, someone got there before me, so I was over here just a little bit.
Yeah.
I was about 30 feet to the right of where I usually sit. I have my place. I know we get familiar. We get very familiar with where we sit. So thank you. Yes, I was there.
Okay. Did you use the meditation to help you? I mean, the Dhammatalk to help you concentrate on your meditation?
Yes. And to be quite honest, what it is I meditate on a daily basis, but when I'm in a group of people, I feel very much more disciplined because I'm in a peer group. I don't have to necessarily be sitting in a circle or in a room, but because we're all doing it together, I feel more disciplined because everyone else is doing it likewise. So it's not pressure, but I just feel part of a bigger whole.
Yeah. Some people find it useful to meditate with other people. Force them to be more disciplined, like you say.
So I look forward to being disciplined again this weekend.
Okay. Good to see you then. Okay, we'll go to Vancouver, Canada. Sri and check.
Greetings, Ajahn.
Greetings, Ajahn.
Greetings to you. Do you celebrate Christmas or you're not Christian? Or you celebrate the secular Christmas?
The cousin invite for dinner. That's it. I just had some dinner with them and then went home. Secular Christmas, I suppose.
Yes.
Mm.
Commercial Christmas. Shopping, exchanging gifts, and having dinner.
Dinner, yeah.
Not going to church.
No. Just a dinner, yeah. At home, yeah.
Okay. Essential pleasures is what you do.
Yeah.
Instead of meditate at home, you have people coming or going to their home and then celebrate, eat and drink, and be happy.
Once a year. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
feel a
always
little
once a
bit
year.
obligated.
Birthdays are also once a year. New Year's also once a year.
I only see them once a year, so I feel a little bit obligated when they ask me to go. I feel like, yeah, I feel like if I say no, it's too, it's too
unkind, huh?
Yeah, because they only can see me once a year. I cut down. We used to see them maybe three or four times a year. Now they know that okay, only once a year. So I feel it is too unkind. But it's not like I guess it's not very easy to yeah. But I'm very I feel very inspired by Jordan's dad too. Like I felt like he's a really good role model for parents. Like such a right attitude about being so supportive to the son for going for ordination. So I felt like happy for Jordan and his dad that they can have such a good attitude about ordination.
Okay.
And Ajahn, like one of the methods to improve mindfulness is to do chanting. And normally, how long like people chant?
Well, the long the better, the more the better. 1 hour, can you do that? When I first started meditation, I couldn't focus on my breath. So I recite the sutta. Takes about 40 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I did this during sitting in meditation. I use it as a meditation object. Instead of using the breath, I use the sutta, reciting of the sutta as my meditation object. Because I can still think about the suttas. And with watching the breath, you cannot think about anything. You just have to keep watching the breath. So that might be harder to do. So with reciting the sutta, you can still think about the sutta. The four foundation of mindfulness sutta. That's what I use.
So, Tanaja, when you like recite the sutta, like in the beginning, will the thoughts still come in?
Well, it might come in, but you don't pay attention to it. So You have to focus on the sutta. Yeah. You have to remember the sutta and try to recite the sutta. So it's harder for you to go think about other things. Try to recite the four foundation of mindfulness sutta. In English, I use it in English. First, you try to remember it first.
Yeah.
And then once you remember, then when you meditate, you close your eyes and then recite the sutta mentally without using your voice.
So is reciting the sutta and reciting Buddha the same? Like
it's the same, but with Buddha, you're not allowed to think about other things. It's too restrictive to the mind when you first started. You might still want to think about this and that. So let's think about the sutta instead. Think about what contains in the sutta, what you have to recite.
Oh, okay.
So you feel more comfortable doing it that than just recite the Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. After you do that for a couple of minutes, you get tired of it. But reciting the sutta, you have something different. Keep changing. Contemplation of the body, contemplation of the feeling, contemplation of the mind, and so forth. And you also learn from this reciting how to proceed step by step from the sutta. It tells you what you should do for mindfulness, then meditation, then wisdom, develop wisdom by contemplating on the three characteristic nature of body, feelings, and mental states.
You ease your mind into it.
You want to take up the homework, the challenge, go recite the four foundation of mindfulness.
The whole sutta you took like 1 hour, Ajahn?
But I think I recite some. I think the shorter one is when they keep repeating, I just skip the repetition.
But you can memorize the whole sutta, Ajahn?
Before, not now. I stopped reciting it now, but before when I started meditating.
Before you can.
Yeah.
Words by words, like.
Yeah. From the word, from the beginning. Thus have I heard the Lord Buddha was staying in this place and giving a talk to this group of people and so forth. And from the start to end until the end. And he promised that if you follow this, the instruction in this sutta, you can either become enlightened in 7 days, in not 7 days, in 7 weeks or 7 months or 7 years eventually.
I feel like you have to be very, very smart to remember the whole sutta like for like.
No, you don't have anything to do. See, I quit working, so I got plenty of time to pass my time with. So I study the sutta. I read the books, meditation books, and I find reciting this sutta is useful for me for meditation. So I recite the sutta.
You're not looking at the book. You're like from the memory.
Well, first you have to read the book first, right? You have to read and remember, recite, commit it to memory first. Once you are committed to memory, then when you meditate, you recite this from your memory, not from the book.
Okay. And even though in the beginning, like certain thing in that sutta, if I don't understand, so I just leave it.
No, you recite the whole thing, except when you find they're repeating it. Like sometimes talk about the body, feelings, anya again and again, which refer to the same thing. Then you can skip the repetition. If you want to, or you don't, if you don't want to, you can recite the repetition as well. Like body is anicca, feeling is anicca, sankhara is anicca. They are anicca. Then body is dukkha, feeling is dukkha, and so forth. These are repetition, right? So you can just say body, feeling, and sanya, sankhara, vinyana, anicca, dukkha, anatta. You cover it in one sentence rather than do it in 15 sentences. You know?
Yeah.
But most of the suttas are like that. They keep repeating.
Yeah.
That's because that's how they got to commit it to memory. See? During the Buddha's time, there's no book. No one could read or write, so they had to rely on the memory. So they have to recite something repeatedly for them to be able to remember them.
Oh. So I have to go to that sutta.
Or other sutta, if you don't like the four foundation, you go maybe the first discourse, the Dhammatalk Sutta, when it teaches about the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path.
In English.
Okay, we have to go and pick a shorter one.
Why?
Short.
The longer the better. So you don't really want to. Your laziness start to proceed your practice already. How are you going to achieve? You're doing it reluctantly, not willingly. But when you go take money from the bank, you want to take as much as you can, right? When taking the Dhamma, you want to take as little as possible. So when will you get anywhere if you have this kind of attitude?
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I feel kind of intimidated, like by the length of the but I think it's my defaultment, like just
you can watch TV, Netflix for 2 hours right? Easily, or even longer. And then sometimes you binge on your watching all day long.
Or singing, people can remember, right? The
Yeah,
lyrics.
karaoke.
Yeah.
I feel like I need a karaoke chanting machine. I'm not. I feel that like remembering the whole sutta is it's quite a challenge.
It's a challenge.
What's so much of a challenge? It just text, it's just ideas.
But I don't know. I don't think. Really, do people have such a like? Do you think everybody has such a good memory, Ajahn? Like I see that so many people like cannot.
During the Buddha's time, his assistant can remember everything the Buddha taught.
Yeah, that's why I'm so like I always feel like wow, like
They have good
Venerable
memory.
Ananda. So it comes from like really good mindfulness, Ajahn?
Maybe during that time there's no other distraction for them. So they
Oh.
only concentrate on just studying and committing everything into memory.
Yeah, I guess.
We were not in that same type of surrounding and training. See. Maybe they were trained from early, when they start going to school, start learning something, they have to commit everything into memory.
Yeah.
Because there was no reading or writing.
Yeah, I think it's you're right. I think it's totally possible because I now that I remember like a lot of Sri Lankans that I know they are very good with like knowing all the like Pia also knows like his sutta really well. Yeah, I think
Like the spelling bees, the children can remember all this vocabulary.
I guess I just have to put my heart into it. I think if I put my heart into it, I'll be able to do it.
That's
I
right.
think just thinking about it, it's
wherever there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
If you have no will, no way.
No will, no way.
give a very good point about going to the bank. I thought like, oh yeah, that's true. I think it's really excuses, Ajahn. Yeah, just giving myself excuses.
Maybe you were not trained that way to remember to memorize. Especially in the modern days, you have the computer and you have everything to do it for you. Calculator. No, you don't even know how to calculate in your mind now. You have to use a calculator every time you want to add or subtract or multiply. Before the time of calculator, we have to use this in our mind. We have to do this in our mind. We have to memorize the multiplication table.
Yeah, I think we still do that.
Do they still do this today?
Yeah.
They still do it, huh? Okay.
But I think it's getting
But they don't use it. They don't use it. They turn to the calculator. Now you got the phone. So anything you want, you just use the phone to give you the answer.
There's something more severe these days, Ajahn. It's called the Chat GPT. It's the AI. It's even more. You just you don't have to write your essay. You just have to type in, then they'll come in with the whole essay for you. Yeah, it's even
Well, if we use less, we are supposed to be more mindful, but we are not. Like this technology thing is not helping us to be mindful. So, in fact, we have more thinking.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it. So, don't want to waste my time on thinking about these things anyway. Unless I really have to, but since I don't have to.
So that chanting, reciting sutta is one of few ways, right, to improve mindfulness, and walking as well, walking meditation.
Yeah, walking meditation. Focus on what you do. Yeah. Just keep watching what you do. When you're brushing your teeth, just concentrate on brushing your teeth and don't think about other things.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Tarzan.
Thank you, Tarzan.
Okay. I think now we can go to question from email or from Facebook or YouTube. Juan.
Good evening, Ajahn. We have 3 questions so far. The first question from the assistant email, Charles, New York. What are the imponderable subjects?
This thing you can actually ask the internet. Since you asked me, I also have to consult the internet. So this is what I learned from the internet, the 4 imponderables. 1, the ability or the knowledge or power of a Buddha. We cannot ponder how much they have, how clever, how smart they are. 2, the abilities of those who have achieved jhana. We don't know. Some can have psychic power, some can read the mind of other people, some can recollect past lives, and these are things that are beyond our normal comprehension. 3rd, the working of the law of karma. And 4th, the speculation about the origin of the universe or samsara. This is something that is beyond our human ability to be able to understand these things. So don't waste your time, but do the practice. Become a Buddha if you want to know what a Buddha is like. You want to know what you get from jhana, practice jhana. And follow the law of karma, then you'll start to understand the law of karma, the working of the law of karma. But as far as the universe, no one knows the origin of the universe, or the origin of samsara. Okay?
Okay, and the second question from Amma. Dear Ajahn, can you please kindly share how Luang Ta Mahabua thought about the necessity of jhana to reach the understanding of a sotapanna?
Well, you need jhana to have equanimity, to be able to remain, to stand up to your defilement, to your attachment, to your cravings. Without equanimity, when your craving comes up, you cannot stop it. You cannot resist it. But with equanimity, you can resist your cravings. You need this in order to be able to cut off your fetters, the fetters that bind you to rebirth. Right? The fetter of attachment to your body and feeling towards it. If you don't have equanimity, you cannot let go of the attachment to your body. You cannot let it die. You cannot let it get sick, or you cannot leave the painful feeling alone. You want to get rid of it. You want to protect your body. You want to get rid of your sickness. But the more when you have this craving, you're creating stress in your mind. If you don't want to have any stress, then you just have to leave the body alone, leave the feeling alone. But if you don't have equanimity, you will not be able to leave them alone. You want to manage them. You want to manipulate, control them. And you cannot. And when you cannot, you feel very stressful.
And the last question from Leon Soon. Can Ajahn please explain the meaning of Sangha?
Sangha, the Sangha.
The Sangha.
The Sangha is the community of monks. Usually refers to the noble ones, the enlightened monks, not the ordinary monks that we see in monastery and temples. These are the enlightened monks starting with the Sotapannas, Sakidakami, Anakami, and Arahant. These are the 4 levels of enlightenment. These are the Sangha in the Triple Gem. The Triple Gem consists of the Buddha, the Dhamma teaching, and the Sangha. And they all have one thing in common, enlightenment. The Buddha enlightened, his teaching is enlightened teaching, and the noble disciples are enlightened disciples.
That is all.
Okay. We have some more time left. If anybody would like to ask any more questions, please raise your hand and unmute your microphone. Okay, Rajan.
Very samsaric layperson question. And if a lay practitioner offers some service to a monastery or to the Dhamma, is it okay to charge his professional fee, which would include some profit in it?
Then it's just a business, it's not charity. You want to do charity, then you don't take anything from the person that you give. If you give something like Christmas gift to me and you ask me for the price of the gift, then you're not giving me a gift, you're selling me the gift. So it's not charity. It's giving by not accepting anything in return. It's considered giving or charity.
Ajahn, I mean, if he is engaged in some professional service for the monastery, let's say if he's a construction engineer or he's an architect, and he's offering a professional service.
It's up to him, say whether he wants to charge or not charge. If he wants to do charity, then he doesn't charge any money. But if he wants to make a living, then he has to charge the money too. So it depends on what you want to do. You want to make a living or you want to make a charity contribution. We have some people who do work for the monastery for free, nothing. And we have some people who work for the monastery and get money from the monastery. So it depends on what you want.
Right.
Okay. Nothing wrong to charge money from the monastery, because you still have to make a living, but you just don't have the charity part. That's all. You're not making any charitable contribution. You're not doing any dana.
Right.
So you're investing yourself on the path. Let's put it that way. If you do free service, then you are advancing yourself on the path of dana, charity, morality, and meditation. So it depends on what you want. You want to make a living, then you have to charge your money, right? But you want to advance your path, then you don't charge any money. You do it as a charity, as a dana.
Yes.
Okay, clear?
Yes, Ajahn.
Anything else?
Yes, I have a couple more questions. And one is, okay, this factor of conceit, which sometimes arises when one is meditating, practicing, and you're surrounded by non-meditators. And sometimes one tends to have some kind of a conceited view of what you think that, people may be having ignorance or too much attachment. And yeah, it creates a kind of negativism. So how does one work with that?
Well, this quality is deeply embedded in every human, every ordinary being's mind. And the way to get rid, the Buddha teaches us to practice humility, be humble. Try to treat yourself as a servant, as an ignorant, as a nobody. Think yourself as somebody low, somebody unimportant, somebody, ignorant, somebody, very, very low, in a low rung of the social ladder. Think yourself as a servant, for instance. To be humble, humility, practice humility. This is one way to counter your ego or your conceit. Okay, understand?
Yes, Ajahn. Ajahn, I think the way to handle greed is by practicing generosity.
That's part of it. Yes, that's part of it. Yes, but not all of it. You can still have greed after you do generosity, you do charity. But the way to get rid of greed completely, you have to use meditation and mindfulness and wisdom. But yes, using charity is a start. But it's like cutting a tree down. You don't cut, when you use charity, it's like just cutting the branches of a tree. You haven't yet cut the tree and dig up the root of the tree. You still have greed after you do some charity. Maybe less greed, but not completely gone, or not completely gone from charity alone.
Yes, Ajahn.
Okay. Any more?
Okay, one more question. And that's about the mind chattering, and the mind chatters during meditation. And we bring it back when we're aware that the mind is chattering and focus again on the object. And then this process continues when the meditation is over and the mind keeps chattering. And sometimes that chattering manifests in the real world and you end up chattering too much. So, I mean, this is an observation I've had. And of course, it seems, that it's very important to continue with the mindfulness even after one has finished the
That's
sitting.
right. You need mindfulness before, during, and after. It means you have to practice mindfulness all the time, from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, if you want to succeed in controlling your thoughts.
Yes.
Okay. Is that clear?
Yes, Ajahn.
All right.
Thank you so much.
We have a newcomer who just came in, Ryan from Singapore. Any question, Ryan?
Good evening, Ajaan. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm actually calling in from Italy.
Oh,
So,
really? What you doing
yeah,
there? Holiday?
I'm on holiday with my mother,
Mhm.
and yeah, I felt that it's probably quite intoxicating with all the sights and sounds and tastes. So somehow, I'm not sure how, but it just occurred to me that, oh, right now, this live session with you is ongoing, so I wanted to join.
Yes. Are you enjoying yourself on your holiday?
Yes, I actually am quite enjoying myself. We just had 3 days in Rome, and then now we're on the way to Venice. I'm actually in the train.
You should apply some wisdom, telling yourself that this is anicca, it's temporary. After you come back, all this happiness will disappear, and leaving you longing for more, leaving you with dukkha.
That's true, Tanajan. Yes, I was just in Rome, so we saw all the Roman ruins, and I was trying to remind myself how everything is impermanent, because they used to rule a large part of the world, and everything that they have is all completely destroyed. So it's anicca.
Yeah. Everything is anicca.
Yes. I also realized that, Tanajan, this is your opportunity to travel, because you don't leave the monastery. So I thought I would bring you to Italy.
I see. Okay, thank you. So I'm now in Italy with you.
Yes, Tanajan. Yes, happy to bring you here.
Okay.
Nice to see you too, Tanajan. I wish you a good transition into the new year, and peace and good health and happiness, and continue to learn from you, Tanajan. Sadhu,
Thank
sadhu.
you. Thank you. Have safe travel. Travel safely.
Thank you, Tanajan.
Okay. Do we have? I just saw Stalin came in just now. Is he still here? He's gone. Okay. Anybody else would like to ask any more questions? You're welcome to raise your hand and unmute your microphone. Okay. Check from Vancouver.
I just came back from Italy.
Now I'm back in Vancouver now.
Now you're back. No, now you're in Vancouver. I think about maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, somebody asked you the self, like the what's the difference between destruction of self in Sotapanna and in the Arahant? And you said one is a physical and one is a mental. So that means like our delusion in our delusion thinks that there are two self, Ajahn?
No, well, that's one, because the mind thinks the body and the mind is one and the same thing. See. So, but when you practice, you know the mind and the body are two separate things. So you have the delusion of of a self in the body, as well as the delusion of a self in the mind. So Sotapanna first get rid of the delusion of a self in the body. Then after that, he has to go get rid of the delusion of a self in the mind, the conceit that you still have in your mind.
It's because the mind thinks the body and the mind
It's the
more
same thing. It's the
same thing.
same thing.
It's not
But-
because they think there's a two self. It's
But there's
one.
really two person in our existence. We are twins, not knowing that we are twins. We thought we are one, body and mind. And actually, we are actually two person, the mind and the body. And due to the fact that the mind is invisible, so we then presume that the body and the mind is one. But in fact, the body and the mind are two separate entities.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
The mind is the master, the body is the slave, the servant.
Body
The
is
mind is the one who tells the body what to do. Go get me a glass of water. Eat this, eat that, go this, go that. This the mind is telling the body. Okay. But you presume it's the body and the mind the same person. But you have to tell your body what to do, right?
Yeah.
If you don't tell the body will just sit there.
Yeah.
If you don't tell your body to get up, you won't be getting up.
Like the puppet master, I don't know, say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you had a really good talk. The title is Twins, but it's very early on, like in the videos, like I want to go back to that talk. It's a really very good talk. On YouTube, I think, but it's very it's a long time, like maybe 2016, maybe around, yeah, quite a long time ago.
Yes. Our problem is that we're only taking care of the body and not the mind. We leave the mind always in state of turmoil, in state of agitation, discontent. But we feed the body with plenty of food, with everything that the body needs. Until we overeat, we overdoing looking after the body, but we hardly look after the mind. What the mind needs, we don't give it to the mind. The mind needs to work, need charity. Because when you give, you feel good, you feel happy. Like Christmas, you give present, right? When you give present, you feel good, right?
Yeah.
But you only give once a year. You only give the mind food once a year. Which you give the food to the body every day.
Every day.
3 times a day. 3 times a day. With the mind, you only do it maybe Christmas, maybe New Year, or maybe on a birthday or something. The rest of the year, you leave the mind hungry all the time. And so when the mind is hungry, you thought the body is hungry. So you feed the body more food, not the mind.
When the mind is hungry, you thought the body is hungry.
Yeah, so you
confused.
give the body more food, and the body say, "I don't need any more food. I'm overweight already." But you keep feeding the body, not the mind. When you want something, it means the mind is hungry, not the body. Something that you don't need for the body. But you thought the body is hungry, so you eat more food, drink more drinks. And instead of making the mind more full, you make the mind more hungry because you're feeding the wrong person. Instead of feeding the mind, you feed the body. Every time the mind wants something, you feed it to the body, not feed it to the mind. The mind says, "I want food." Food for the mind is charity, doing good things for other people, making other people happy. Because when you make other people happy, you feel good. Your mind feel good. Your mind feel fulfilled. Your mind feel content. But you don't give this kind of food to the mind. So the mind keep telling you, "I'm hungry, hungry," and you thought the mind is hungering for sensual pleasure instead. So you take the mind to a holiday in Italy once. When your mind is still hungry, once you get to Italy, you want to go somewhere else. The mind says, I don't want this, I want to go. Doesn't give me contentment.
So we don't listen to the mind.
We don't know what the mind needs.
Oh.
The mind also needs the four requisites like the body. And the food requisite for the mind is charity.
Oh.
The clothing for the mind is keeping the precept of morality. And the home for the mind is the meditation, samadhi, calm. And the medicine for the mind is wisdom. See? We don't. This is what the mind needs in order for it to be happy, healthy, and content. But we hardly give this thing to the mind.
Yeah.
So the mind is constantly in a state of hunger, in a state of dissatisfaction, discontent. You give the mind $100 million and the mind is still discontent, right? Still dissatisfied.
Yeah.
No matter how much you give the wrong person, you give to the body. All the things that you do for the body, not for the mind.
Yeah.
Because nobody teach you what to give to the mind, unless you come to Buddhism. And Buddhism says you should give the four requisites to the mind, the four requisites of the mind. The food is doing good work, doing good things for other people, like charity. And you want to keep clothing for the mind, you keep the precept. You maintain you have morality. Because when it's like putting nice clothing on, when you put nice clothing on, people look at you and they look at you and they're happy. They want to be near you. It's like if you're a good person, if you're morally good, then everybody wants to be close to you, right? Because they know that you're not going to hurt them.
Yeah.
So this clothing for the mind is morality. And housing for the mind is meditation. Jhana. When you get into jhana, it's like you're in a safe place. Nothing can harm you. Like when you're in the house, when you stay in the house, you feel protected, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And when you're sick, you use the Dhamma medicine, which is wisdom. The three characteristics of existence and the Four Noble Truths. Will tell you why your mind is sick, why you have stress, because you're having cravings. So stop craving. See? Once you stop craving, then your mind has no stress. Then your mind is well, becomes well, not sick.
But we have to have the first three before we can go to the medicine, right? Like we can't really fully use the medicine.
Well, you might be able to use partially by just studying from the text or learning from the teaching. You can apply maybe to some sickness that is not deeply rooted. It's like when you have a cut, you can use a plaster or something to paste it on your body, right? You don't need a surgery, but if you have cancer, then you have to go to hospital to get surgery. So wisdom has many levels, lower level and higher level. The wisdom that you learn from here now, it's on a lower level, and you can apply it when you have some low level stress.
Like bandit, we can just bandit.
Like a bandit, or apply some tincture or something, to your wound.
And then surgery is the one that can get rid of the cancer.
This you need to do meditation first. You need to have the mind calm first before you can apply this type of meditation.
You need the anesthesia.
You need anesthesia. You need ubeka. You need ubeka.
Wow. Great talk. Yeah. Thank you, Tantra.
Okay.
Sadhu.
Okay, we're almost running out of time. Well, we have some more questions from Pawn. Pawn, what do you have?
We have one question coming in from Sulan. Dear Ajahn, Merry Christmas to you. Sorry I'm unable to join the Zoom call tonight. I would like to ask if it is a good thing to encourage our parents to go to Thailand and visit the monasteries.
Well, they have to want to do it themselves first, then you can support them. But if you try to tell them what to do, they might not like it. So it depends on whether they like to do it or not. If they don't like to do it, and if you try to persuade them, sometimes it backfires. Instead of making them wanting to go, making them don't want to more not wanting to go. So it's better just to you might be able just to let them know that the purpose of going to Thailand to visit monks is to learn the Dhamma and to benefit from this trip, But if they don't see the benefit, then it's very difficult to convince them or to tell them to go. So you can let them know what you're gonna get if you go to Thailand and visit monks, teachers, enlightened teachers. You learn the Dhamma, and the Dhamma can benefit your life, make your life much more less stressful. Maybe if they understand this, they might want to go. But if you just encourage them without telling them the benefit, then they don't know what's the purpose of going there. Okay.
That is all.
All right. I think that's about it then. All the time we have for tonight. Thank you for your company. I hope this meeting is beneficial to you and could help you advance in your practice. In the meantime, please stay safe, stay mindful, and keep on practicing. And if all goes well, I'll see you all at the same time next week. And thank you and goodbye. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Thank
Happy
you,
New Year,
Ajahn.
everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Take care,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas to
Happy New
everyone.
Year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.